Hi guys, it's Gwen Fox and I'm so glad to have you here. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so because we would love to have you. Now, today I thought I would talk about value because it's so important. It is so important to a painting that you can have good design, good color, not have very good value, and your painting's not gonna work. On the other hand, you can have kind of a lousy design, a lousy color, but your value is right and holding it together. And guess what? The painting works. May not be your best, but the painting works. This is how important value is to you as an artist when you're creating. And to me, value was very difficult. So I find it very interesting when I look at a painting and I look at the value and I try and figure all this out. So we're going to look at some things and so you can get an idea of what it looks like, because we as artists are all visual. And so I want to make sure that you have a visual thing to look at. Now, when you do, you'll hear the terms tints and shades. Now you've got the main color. If you add black, it's a shade. It's called a shade. So when you're reading and you say, well, this is a shade of blah, 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 you know what it is. They've merely added black. But if you want it to be lighter, you add white, and that's called a tint. So it's good to know these things so that when they come up, you can kind of like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So we're going to show you some things that I think are going to help you understand value, because it is so very important, as I say. And value is important in every aspect of art. It's not just realism. It's in abstracts as well. And every part of realism. It can be in figures. It can be in landscapes. It can be in still lifes. It can be in anything. Value is key here. So we want to make sure that we understand value. So let's get going on this to see, so you can get an idea of how value works. Here is a grayscale that you can buy at the art store. It's great to have. Now, here is the grayscale done with just black and white, which is quite wonderful to do. So I suggest you might want to do that. Here we have with color. The mother color is number 5. You add black to the ones from 6 to 9, and you add white from 4 to 1. So you can see the variations. This is just an image of 3 different colors. I find it fascinating to see the different colors. Now, in this one, I want you to pay attention to the cheek at the red, because the edge is going to disappear because of the value. So doing it in black and white, you can see the value of the cheek is the same value as the red that's next to it. Therefore, that edge disappears and it becomes very sensual. So this is the whole thing in black and white, so you can see the different values and how absolutely beautiful they are. This is an abstract, and put it in black and white, and even the main shape of the abstract has different variations in it, so you can see the values within that. Now we have a floral, and I want you to pay attention particularly to the lower right side, because there are 2 colors there, or 3 colors really. But anyway, here we are. You've got your red, you've got your green, and so forth, but you put it in black and white, and that they disappear because it's one shape. Those 2 are. Now, here you have the whole thing in black and white, which you can see the highlights. You can see where it works, and it's really quite interesting. Here's a close-up of part of it. Love those colors, love how they blend. But then when you put this in black and white, what do you have? It's almost all the same value. I tell you, value is just fascinating, and I think you will love it once you get into it. Now, this is a demo that I did of a pear, and I'm going to do a close-up of it for you, but the light's coming from the upper left, and so the shadow, of course, will be on the right. This is the close-up of it. Look at the different values to take you from light to dark, and the shadow being the darkest. So when you put that in black and white, you can see it even a little bit better. I think it's so much fun to put things in black and white. Now here is a beautiful painting by Mary James, and the movement in this is gorgeous, but here again, pay attention to the the far right side. But first we're going to see this in black and white. Look how it moves across the page. Look how the movement is. Look how the darks fit with the lights. But now, remember I said the right side? Here it is in color, because she's got these beautiful blues and aqua colors. And then when you put it in black and white, it becomes one shape. That's what I find fascinating with value. This is Bruce Williams, delightful artist. Look at the beautiful neutrals in this painting. The painting is just absolutely glows with the neutrals. And it takes a very sophisticated artist to do neutrals such as this. So let's look at close-up. Here's the neutrals, and here are the values. Look at the values within this tiny little part of his painting. Then you put that in black and white, and it's all goes together. Yet, when it's in the painting, it still has interest. It's still exciting. And so this is, you can just see the values and the different neutrals. Look at this one. I just find it fascinating. I love it. This is a beautiful illustration of using the greens and the creams and having them work together. This is a painting from Jan Griggs, and the movement in this is fantastic. It's just fantastic. But when you break it down, you've got the movement from this part. Look at the values here, going from light to a taupe to a cream, a brownie cream on up. The values as they move have movement within themselves. And then I wanted to show you this to say, when you bring your brush down, you don't have to have a dark next to the light. Look how sensual this is. Then I'm going to end with a portrait that I did of somebody's dog that was just absolutely fabulous. Now you can see that the light's coming from the upper left. It's coming from the left, so it's a little darker on the right. But in order to see the values, we put it in black and white, and it's much more apparent. See, you can see the difference now. The fact that the light is coming from the left and the right side is much more, subdued. Doesn't need to be really subdued. But let's break it down. Under his chin, look at these values. Look at the colors. They all blend together, but they're different shades of the same thing. Look at that. I love it. So this is what the final portrait was, of course. And I don't know. Look at the values in this and how they hold the painting together. So now I want you to do the same. Well, I hope that kind of gave you an idea of how value works, because seeing these things and seeing the fact that you can have a color and another color next to each other, and they will then, if you put it in black and white, it's one shape. Two different colors, same value, one shape. And it just is fascinating because you can do so much. And it's so good, as we saw, with edges. So go pull out some paper, practice this. If you want to do a grayscale just to see how you can do that, because it's kind of fun. Because I have to be honest, when I did my grayscale, I could do all of them except one of those kind of toward the end. It was like, okay, now I've got to go back and I've got to change all these others because this one has to be this. So anyway, let me know how you do. Go do a grayscale, look at your values, and let's see if we can't really understand values so that you are a better artist. Love ya. Bye.